My people, another hot drama just dropped in Nigerian politics. The Obidient Movement has fired back at the African Democratic Congress, ADC, after the party gave a shocking ultimatum. ADC told members of the opposition coalition to resign from their political parties and fully join ADC. But the Obidients said this move is not only unfair, it is in bad faith. And guess what? They also made it clear that Peter Obi, their leader and Labour Party 2023 presidential candidate, is not desperate to become president in 2027. The national coordinator of the movement, Tanko Yunusa, speaking in Abuja, reacted strongly to the statements made by ADC National Publicity Secretary Bolaji Abdullahi. He had said the decision was taken during an ADC caucus meeting with top opposition figures, where members were directed to quit their parties, even though no timeline was given. But Yunusa clapped back, saying, "Our attention has been drawn to the recent statement released by the African Democratic Congress concerning the resolutions of the coalition and our role within it. We wish to restate our position clearly. While we remain fully committed to the vision of the coalition and acknowledge the adoption of the ADC as the coalition platform, it is on record that His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi aligned with the coalition's position after the Anambra State governorship election, extending to the 2027 general elections. This adoption and pronouncements were made publicly by the party. We are therefore concerned as to why the resolution is now being altered midway into their agreement. He stressed that Obi is not a desperate politician. In fact, he always takes his time, consults widely, and puts Nigeria first before making major political decisions. Do you agree that Peter Obi is not desperate, but simply focused on the bigger picture? Or do you think ADC is right to issue that ultimatum? Anyways, here's where it gets even more interesting. In an interview, this interim National Secretary of Labour Party has also spoken out, saying 2027 is the year for real redirection. According to him, even Atiku Abubakar and Goodluck Jonathan should accept this new political reality which Peter Obi represents. Watch this.
Ahead of the 2027 presidential election, a coalition of opposition political parties and civil society organizations has appealed to the conscience of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar to give Mr. Peter Obi a chance to stand as the candidate for the opposition parties. The coalition, under the aegis of Agobi 27, rising from a three-day crucial stakeholders meeting in Abuja, stated that the duo contesting at different party platforms will amount to splitting votes from the opposition coalition parties and possibly will ensure a smooth sail of the APC to victory. According to the group, while Tinubu could easily defeat both Atiku and Obi if they contest on separate platforms by using federal machineries and institutions to rig against them, 100 Tinubus with 100-fold of all the structures and institutions at his command cannot return to office in 2027 if Atiku gives Peter Obi a vice presidential choice and stands behind Obi for the 2027 presidential race. Joining us on this show to discuss their plea to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and why they feel it doesn't stand a chance against President Tinubu is Prince Tony Akene, Interim National Publicity Secretary, Labour Party. Good morning, Prince Akene, and thank you very much for joining us on the morning show.
Thank you for having me. It's nice to be here again.
Okay. Prince Akene, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has been in this presidential race since 1993. He has contested 6 times. Most recently, when someone made this same suggestion that he should not run again, he should allow a younger person to run, he's getting old and all that. That was a very strong statement coming from his media office saying that no, he's going to run in 2027. Now, you had a 3-day meeting and you are saying, Atiku Abubakar should step down for Mr. Peter Obi, who is the person who can beat the APC and President Tinubu. I'd like to ask you, now, 3 days, how did you people arrive at that decision? Even when you know that it's a matter of individual choice. It's not a matter of wishful thinking, who will run, who will not run. It's an open democratic space. The second thing is that I introduce you as Interim Publicity Secretary. Now, you speak for which faction of the Labour Party? Because I know that Arabambi and his supporters, on the other hand, will say, Arabambi is the Publicity Secretary. But here, you are saying you are the which faction do you speak for? And, who were these people who decided that it must be Peter Obi or nothing for 2027?
Okay, thank you for your double-edged question. Let me start with the one that comes later. There is no faction in the Labour Party. The judgment of the Supreme Court put pay to that. The interpretation that followed a few months ago also sealed that judgment. There is only one Labour Party. Whatever else you're seeing outside the Senator Nenadi Usman-led leadership of the Labour Party is just smoke and fog that is being created for persons who have determined that the progress of this country and the progress of the Labour Party in particular is not of any interest to them. All they seek is a platform to line their pockets by impersonating the structures, the institution of the Labour Party. But that is beyond their reach now, because both the Supreme Court and the Federal High Court interpretation that came afterwards has put any activity of the Labour Party beyond their reach. There is only one body, the one led by Senator Nenadi Usman as the interim national chairman, and that is the only one that exists. Then, coming back to the question of the Agobi 2027, Agobi is an acronym that stands for Atiku, please give us Obi in 2027. You will recall that in the run-up to the elections of 2023, a body of patriotic young Nigerians besieged the Wadata Plaza where PDP has their national headquarters. And what was their objective that time? They were there to plead, PDP, give us Peter Obi, because they had seen something unique in Peter Obi. They held peaceful rallies, they pleaded on their feet, they pleaded on their knees. PDP turned their backs on their pleas. And that was the seminal beginning, the seed that led to the body we call the Obidient Movement today. When Peter Obi resigned, that body continued the plea, they went with him, and then it snowballed into first a national momentum and then a global momentum, in the sense that Nigerians in diaspora saw the unique qualities of Peter Obi and put their muscles behind the Obi movement, and it became what it became, a fireball in Nigerian political history that has never been seen before. And what happened? In a short time, the name Peter Obi has become the central word in the political encyclopedia of Nigeria.
All right.
Now, here we are again, 2025, on the wrong way to 2027. The same understanding that our country has been blessed by an extraordinary individual in the person of Peter Obi. We also have a similar understanding that our country has been blessed by an extraordinary person in the person of Alhaji, His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Two giants strutting the political space of Nigeria on the side of the progressive aisle. Looking at the two personalities, their backgrounds, where they're coming from, and where they have told Nigerians they are heading.
Okay.
We felt that it was time to come to the intersection of their individual aspirations.
Okay. All right.
And take a stand.
Okay. Okay.
And the stand we have taken is based on research and study.
All right, Peter Kenny, we'll come to that study shortly, but I need to ask you because of our time. We have very limited time. But you're speaking from the Labour Party.
Okay.
There are a number of parties involved now, so I don't even know which party, because neither of them, that's Atiku Abubakar or Peter Obi, have declared, well, Atiku has indicated interest, but they haven't yet spoken in terms of the party platform. Are you asking them to all come on the Labour Party platform? Because the PDP and the ADC now are in the mix. And then there's a third giant in the political space that might be introduced into this mix as well, in the person of the former president, Goodluck Jonathan. What would you then say to that? If he does decide to run for 2027, would you also ask him to shelve his plans and support or back Mr. Peter Obi? What would then be your stance?
Well, we will have a third leg in the appeal. We will also appeal to President Jonathan that he should consider what the majority of Nigerians have yielded their hearts to pursue. That is a presidency led by a younger person from the younger generation who clicks with the majority of Nigerians by his records of integrity, character, and consistency. Since 2009, you have seen that. No, it's not 2009, actually. When we returned to democracy in 1999, this country has churned out. 1999.
Yes, 1999.
This country has churned out. That's right. Thank you, terrific Rufai. This country has churned out hundreds of former governors. Now, when they leave office, what do you see? It is their people wallowing in poverty worse than they first came in. When they first came in, there is no one that holds the kind of majestic and impeachable record of integrity, of purity of purpose, and compassion for the poor. The president of Mr. Peter Obi could as well have 10 meals a day if that was possible for a human being to accommodate. But he has left all of that comfort. Yeah.
Okay, so what party are you proposing they come on? Is it the Labour Party, PDP, or the ADC? This coalition you're talking about?
The most important thing is the understanding that we need all of them. Whether it is, of course, coming from the Labour Party, I will prefer the Labour Party, but this time, we think that Nigeria as a republic is one party.
Okay.
And therefore, as long as what we are appealing for is accepted, whether it is a coalition of the political parties agreeing on the ADC or the Labour Party, that one is secondary. What is more urgent for us is for the personalities of His Excellency Atiku or Jonathan coming in to provide a third leg to the stool to accept that it is time for a redirection.
Can you hear me because of time? Real quickly. See, with the way you're going...
Very well, very well.
At this rate that you are begging Jonathan, you are begging Atiku, at this rate, I'm sure maybe you probably beg Tinubu to step down for Peter Obi in 2027 because...
Not at all.
No, but that's what you're saying invariably. I mean, a lot of people have asked, what is wrong with Peter Obi competing in an open campaign? So can't he go ahead and face Atiku in an open primary? Because that's what some of the people against him normally say. That, he wants everything to be done for him already and he just emerges. That he should go and campaign in an open campaign. And you said he has an impeachable record. People are saying that's against him. They're saying a lot of things against him. In a state, for instance, they're saying, you didn't turn the state into paradise. Some of the opposition figures against him are saying, you didn't turn the state into paradise when you were there. They're also talking about money that was kept in safe havens, although Mr. Peter Obi has come to explain himself on that, but these things keep coming up. They're also talking about his support for, groups and not being able to condemn activities of insecurity in the Southeast. A lot of people are also saying things like, he didn't do as much as he claimed. He was also hypocritical in his time. So why is he being shielded? Why can't he be made to run in an open contest against Atiku Abubakar and the best man wins? Why are we begging everybody? That's why I say at this rate, maybe we'll probably beg Tinubu to also step down for him.
President Goodluck Jonathan has paid a visit to the national chairman of the opposition African Democratic Congress, the ADC, Senator David Mark, and at his Abuja residence, Now, the meeting, which is described as crucial, comes amid growing political realignments ahead of the 2027 general election and reports that the former president may seek re-election. While details of their discussion remain undisclosed, observers believe the parley may not be unconnected with efforts to forge new alliances and strengthen the opposition's position in the evolving political landscape. Jonathan, who has in recent months been at the center of consultations across party lines, continues to play a pivotal role in Nigeria's democratic process. Well, for more on the African Democratic Congress, we're being joined in the studio by Honorable Chile Igbaua. He is a member of the ADC Strategy Committee. Good morning, sir. Can you kindly shed any light on the purpose of former President Jonathan's visit to Senator David Mark and why it was important for the ADC to host him now? Go ahead, sir.
Honorable Chile, that question is for you.
Good morning, viewers. Thank you very much. I think the visit was a private visit to the national chairman of the party, and I would say that the details of the visit have not yet been disclosed. But you may not be wrong. Jonathan is a former president, and he's been in the news of recent concerning whether he will be run for elections in 2027 or not. And even if he's not running, what he thinks about the sitting government and then the opposition political parties. I believe that given the status of the ADC as one of the most active opposition parties, should be interested in having discussions with the national chairman.
Okay, prior to former President Jonathan's visit, he's been on the news. The possibility and the plausibility of his candidacy has been discussed so far. Within the rank and file of the African Democratic Congress, have there been discussions about the possibility of adopting President Jonathan as a likely candidate for the party?
Not at all. The issue is that ADC has, as one of its fundamental principles, always said and insisted that the emergence of a candidate must be through the democratic process. So the issue of adopting a candidate would normally not arise. We have people who are already strong members of the coalition and also in the ADC who are also interested in running for the presidency. But what has been the issue at the forefront, at the front burner of the ADC, is that we should be concerned more about strengthening the structures of the party and ensuring that we're in a position to deliver victory in 2027. And those who are aspirants to our knowledge have also agreed that that is the way to go, and that they're willing to step down their ambitions for now to ensure that we have a strong political party on ground. And there is also the assurance, some of those who are known aspirants have publicly declared that they will be willing to work with any candidate who wins through a democratic process. So when we talk about adopting a candidate, it means we are defeating the whole purpose of democracy, and that is not part of the expectations that members of the ADC have.
All right, thank you so much for that, Honorable Igbawa. Now, you know, some of the information that emerged from the ADC yesterday was something that seemed like a marching order, that the ADC will require all of their members to rescind membership with other political parties and become official members of the ADC. Of course, we know that constitutionally this is the expectation. However, in the past, we've seen, you know, a number of prominent people who have straddled, you know, one foot in one place, one foot in another place, and so forth. My question to you is, what is the deadline? Because we also know that a lot of these politicians like to wait until the very last minute when they know that all hope is lost in other places to quickly commit to a place. This has become the trend in most instances. So is ADC going to be bold enough to create a deadline and a timeline that wouldn't be a last minute type of affair?
No, thank you very much. I think it's not, the deadline is already here, it's now. And we're talking about those who are already members of the coalition, because the coalition has adopted ADC as their platform. So the expectation is that all members of the coalition who had worked together for over a year and 4 months should have made up their minds. We had said in previous programs on television and the media generally that there was some concession given to only two persons, and that was His Excellency El-Rufai and His Excellency Peter Obi, who had outstanding elections in their own former political parties. So they were allowed for the time of the off-season elections to canvass for their candidates. But now that is virtually over. For His Excellency El-Rufai, he has already conducted the by-elections in Kaduna, which he was interested in, and he doesn't have any reason to continue to be showing his membership of more than one political party. And like you rightly said, that is what the Constitution provides.
Ibawa, one of the reports stated that Atiku Abubakar is yet to become an official member of ADC. Is this true?
I'm not too sure about that, because we have both, you know, manual and online registration. So I wouldn't say that for now. So you're not sure if Atiku Abubakar, who has been carrying the mantle of the ADC as his brand, you're not sure if he's an official member of the party? No, I'm not sure about the allegation that he's not a member of the ADC. I would rather say he is. And it will be left for a person who has better information to say he is not. I believe that he is a member of the ADC.
Okay, let's look at the internal workings of the party, especially a fallout from the stakeholders meeting that was held yesterday at the ADC. Now, one of the take home is that the party agreed that they would support whoever wins the primary. But the question is, we understand that Section 84 of the Electoral Act 2022 provides for 3 modes of conducting primaries with the presence of INEC. That's the direct, indirect, and the mode of consensus rather. But what mode is the ADC adopting for its elections, primary elections?
The National Working Committee of the party is working on those details. Like I told you, the preoccupation for now is to, speed up membership registration, which is a concern of most members of the ADC, and that was emphasized very strongly at yesterday's meeting, that the process of membership registration and, very importantly, revalidation, because there are some members on the register of the ADC who are no longer there.
But
for one reason or the other.
Let me just come in. Looking at the states the ADC is right now, they would be wrestling against an incumbent factor. That's the ruling All Progressive Congress. You don't think that ADC is in a race against time, that they need to show some sense of urgency in its planning?
That's exactly what we're doing. We know we're in a race against an incumbency, but there are 2 sides to incumbency, like a coin. You have the positive signs of incumbency and the negative signs.
Right.
And for us, we know that the APC belongs to the negative side. They have not much to count in their favor for being incumbents in government, because they've messed the place up.
Well, speaking about the APC and the negative and the positive sides, recently a Canadian court reportedly declared the APC and the PDP as terrorist organizations. What do you make of that report?
Well, it shows part of the negativity that I'm saying. If the perception of the international community, and more so the Nigerian community, is that the APC and the PDP have failed, and they are not parties we here are not calling them terrorists yet, but there are all elements of banditry in both the APC and the PDP, and that's why we say they are negatives. And we do not believe that the majority of Nigerians are looking forward to APC or ADC. And we're talking to Nigerians directly at the grassroots, and we know what we're doing.
Okay, Honorable Igbawa, I just want to come back to, the membership status of some of your front runners, if I may call it that, for the presidential ticket within the party. Today's Daily Independent reports that the Obidient Movement have declared that there's no uncertainty or confusion about Peter Obi's position, that he will run on the ticket of the Labour Party for 2027. I'd just like to confirm, are you expecting him to port, or are you aware that his movement, because of course the attraction around Peter Obi is the Obidient Movement, what is the status of your talks with Peter Obi? Are you expecting him to also pick up his membership as a matter of now? As you've said, the deadline is now.
Yes, of course. Peter Obi has been participating in the process of the coalition right from the beginning until now. So sometimes when members of Obidient make statements, we doubt whether they are consulting him. The issue is that the vital and critical processes that we are going through, Peter Obi is part of it. He is part of, the leadership that constituted the reconstituted National Working Committee and NEC. And if you have no keen interest in a political party and you are moving your principal persons into their leadership, then I don't know what else will show us that. He is not from outside. It's a different thing when you say whether Jonathan is coming. That's a different way. He's not being part of the coalition. But Peter Obi has been part of the coalition from the beginning. And I have seen him say in audio and video messages that he's a member of the party and that he is there not just for the purpose of getting a ticket for the presidency. He is there to salvage Nigeria. That is what he has said himself. So I'd rather believe Peter Obi himself, who is at meetings with us, than believe those who were part of his 2023 ambition. They may be thinking that maybe they are better off identifying as the Obidients, but I can assure you that Obidients themselves are not static.
Don't you need them? Don't you need their Obidients in 2027?
We definitely need them. And several of them are in the leadership of the party of the ADs as I'm speaking to you. But I should perhaps remind you that the Labour Party has 2 factions. I will not be surprised if some of the Obedients have chosen a different faction, but for those who are in the faction in which Peter Obi is, are certainly those who are for the ADC. And we are working with them. Where the national chairman of the party, of the Labour Party, is with us at meetings every time we meet, along with Peter Obi. So I don't want to believe those who are speaking possibly
Right.
without due consultations.
Okay, so what would you say are specific strategies that the ADC is pursuing in these early realignments?
What matter of strategy, you know, there are not matters we discuss too openly, but we know what it takes to win an election. And so you are developing strategies, one, of building a formidable political party. We are developing strategies of having a very, you know, strong and democratic constitution. We are working towards a workable manifesto, and we are working towards developing a blueprint for an ADC government.
But
so that when
surely-
we come into government, we're not going to start looking left and right. What do we do? Because these are being worked upon. And so we come in ready to start to hit the ground running on day one when we take over, you know, governance in Nigeria.
Okay, ahead of the race to 2027, you have some multiple legal tussle against the leadership structure, the status of the leadership structure of your party. How is your party coping with this? And what if it turns out the other way? What are the other political options for your party?
Well, let me reassure Nigerians once again that we do not have any concerns about litigation. Litigation is an ongoing thing. But before we ever got to choosing the ADC as our platform, we had navigated all the possibilities, including litigations. And we know that those that were there, we allowed them to get them off, you know, the face of the litigation, you know, portal. Before we got the party down, we have reviewed all those things. Now, of the few new litigations that are coming up, we know they are worthless. I'm not just speaking because I'm a lawyer. I'm speaking because we, as a legal team, already investigated those people who are going to court, and we know either they don't have the locus to be there. So what do you worry about?
But there are some people who would say that the ADC has no political structure, with about just 3 members in the National Assembly.
That is not a structure. The issue is that every person you see on the screen who is in the coalition has a structure. I have a structure. I won election as a member of the National Assembly. My structures are still intact. So if I come into ADC, I bring my structures. Peter Obi has structures more than he had in 2023. He is there. He has developed the structures more. Atiku has structures. Tambuwa has structures. Everybody, you see all the people you quote, you can see them on the screen. They have structures. So forget about the structures of those other people. The structures are being brought together.
Drop your thoughts in the comments, like this video, share it, and don't forget to subscribe because more breaking updates are coming your way.